Welcome back to another supporter stream, and I just realized that I have a small typo in my banner today. So I'm going to fix that before you guys see everybody, but I did unmute everybody, and they can't see me for some reason. I have no idea why, but my Jitsi server is telling me everything is A-OK on my end, but they can't see me.
You're on YouTube. That's what counts.
Yeah, so that's good. We do prioritize the show on your end, so... but I'm going to fix my banner before I jump over to that.
You're visible on YouTube.
Yep.
Are we visible?
You are not visible on YouTube yet. No, because I am fixing my banner, because when you guys show up, the banner shows up, and I have a typo in my banner. And so I'm going to fix that before somebody else tells me about it. How's that sound?
That sounds good. Well, now I want to know what the typo is.
There's a T before the first thing, because the way I have my banners set up, basically the way my system works, if I delete the whole title and then just type the new one, it doesn't save all the font formatting. So I erase everything except the first letter, type out the title, and then delete the first letter. And for whatever reason, I forgot to delete the first letter this time. So
kind of like how email works.
Kind of. So,
yeah.
All right, there we are. Now you guys can see, and thanks to Salbu for the fun title on the banner. So long passwords. Thanks for all the fish. Today, of course, we are talking about Google is starting the end of the password campaign, and actually, right as soon as this came out, I actually saw that. Dashlane is actually doing the very same thing, which that wasn't in the notes I sent to everybody today, so apologies for that. And I look like Dark Brandon Rises here, so let me lighten myself up a little bit. There we are, minus the aviators. But anyway, and we are getting some really nice kitty memes going over there on Odyssey chat right now.
Yep.
So we got Instigator, we got the Anchorage over there, we got Muko over there, Muko with a cute cat. And greetings, Zentek 1973. Greetings to you. Over on to Tubies, we got Commodore Fan. Switched my main home PC and work PC to Manjaro Gnome with traditional layout. Liking it so far. There you go. System usage is not that bad. Tried XFCE, but still got some quirks. I don't like it with dual monitors. The cool thing about XFCE with dual monitors, though, is it is one of the only ones that out of the box you can set a different wallpaper for each monitor. I remember that
and I miss that.
Yeah, with my I used to do that when I ran a multi-monitor cubes build. That's actually what I had set up. Hello, everyone. Dakota Rustler says, hello, everyone. Libertarian Party of South Dakota this weekend, retiring my treasurer position. All right, well, South Dakota happens to need a new treasurer for the Libertarian Party. If anybody's in there and wants that. Dude, my chat is spinning all over the place. Libertarian Party of South Dakota Convention, Deadwood at high noon. All right. Galaxy far, far away sits a kitty cat. The banner over me is love. There you go. All right. Let's see. Try the click second monitor. Have a full video on the main screen. Dave Banner is the Hulk. What? YubiKey only now? Oh, no. They're going worse than YubiKey. We'll read the marketing message. It's great. And Rudy is on. Greetings, Rudy. I don't remember seeing you before, so if you are new, Rudy, welcome. Ashton's over there on Rumble. We have 11 watching over on Rumble. We have 21 currently.
I'm also here
on Odyssey. We have 17 on the Tubies. We got one over there on Twitch, and Salbu's over there saying first. And so apparently Drapsnet was over there, but I can't see the chat over there. And
my comment is that the nickname that he's using, it's Norwegian for Murder Night.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I thought that was an interesting nickname to use. So it looks like he's Norwegian or maybe Danish.
Nice. All right. How's everybody doing on the chat today?
Doing good.
Nice weather today. Everything's going smoothly.
Allergies.
Allergies are really bad.
Yeah, we seem to be in monsoon season. It's been raining and raining and raining and raining and raining.
You should get a day of good weather coming over your way soon. I mean, it rained here for a week.
Well, it's not supposed to rain tomorrow, but it's going to be cloudy most of the day, so we'll see what happens. Fortunately, I'm not going anywhere because in town it's like graduation / move out weekend at Penn State. Yeah, you don't go in town those days. Right. It's like worse than a football game. And so fortunately, I'm back here, and if it's all cloudy up, that's fine. I just plug my van outside of my friend's house here, and we're all good. So, but I actually hit maximum power 2 days in a row in clouds. Go figure. But I guess yesterday I didn't have to turn on the big computers at all. So,
you should get some sunshine in a day or two. I'm looking at the weather radar.
Not according to our forecast when I checked it the other day, but maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Of course, this is Pennsylvania. Outside of Seattle, we have more cloudy days than sunny days. So,
boy.
Yeah, it's a lot of self-offing around here.
Yeah, double down on the vitamin D.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, Ashton, how's it going your way?
My head is full of sinus stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that
have the
sounds
same
exciting.
problem. I got to eat a lot of Benadryl.
All right, so Benadryl is your side dish. All right, both of you guys. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get jumping on into our topic. May as well get there early, and then we can wrap up early and talk about crazy nonsense. Before we get into that too much, we are returning tonight with the Christian content over on the Christian channel, and we are dissecting Ireland's new thought crime bill. So, yeah. And so we'll be looking at that over there and the implications, and over in Ireland, being a Christian, or maybe even a dedicated person of any specific faith, may become illegal. We'll talk about that on the other channel. I'll have a link for that at the end of this show. But let's go ahead and get on into our topic. So they've talked about it before. The end of passwords. What do you guys think when we talk about the end of passwords?
Not going
Why?
to happen.
Barf.
Why? Not going to happen.
But I think it's good to have an alternative, but it's not going to completely go away. There are systems. My local computers are always going to have a password. There is no chance that I'm having a local system where I have to use some app or some other means to log in other than a password. That's not going to happen.
Yes. Face scan identification, please. Face scan identification, please.
I keep all my passwords in my safe, which requires a 4-digit number to two 4-digit numbers to open it.
Okay, there you go. So 8 digits. Got it.
Yeah, it's bolted to the wall and the floor.
There you go. All right. So you need a lot of time or a big tool set to get it out without. What do you think, Ivan? What are your thoughts?
Initially, I just went, uh-oh, and then reading through the little description on the website, stuff like that, the first thing that pops into my head is my conditioned response, which is Linux.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
I also read the article, and then I clicked on one of the links explaining what the passkey is. And you can have, and they are very clear on the description that it is only local on your device, be it a phone or your computer. So it's not some password manager thing. But they say that you, depending on what you are going to do with your account, you may need to enter a PIN code. That's just another word for a short password. So
yeah, that's the thing
that's going to be a thing.
That's the thing that gets me. You don't have to remember your dog's name anymore. I mean, I can understand like Biden forgetting his dog's name, but the average person is not going to forget your dog's name. Okay,
Yeah.
Or your birthday. If your password is like your anniversary date, many men will be screwed. But they just ask their wives, so that's okay. But then we're going to replace that with a PIN. Great.
Yeah, which is usually for
to be fair to the PIN, it's not just the PIN; it's the PIN plus the device. But let's go ahead and look at the announcement. Of course, this is from Mr. Googly's itself. So the googly-eyed reading of this, the beginning of the end of the password. For the first time, we've begun rolling out passkeys, the easiest and most secure way to sign into apps and websites, and a major step towards a passwordless future. So one of the things, I think Dan had mentioned this earlier, it's not just into your Google account, it's into apps that utilize your Google account. So I know I'm in the process of phasing a client from a Wix site to a Sane Rational website. And nobody has the Wix login, but they set it up to log in with a Google account. The good news is we have their Google account, so I can get into the Wix account from the Google account. And once I do that, then we can go ahead and kill the stupid account. But any type of app, any type of website, anything that allows a Google login will allow us to be able to use this system because you're authenticating through your Google account. Now, this has some positives to it, but if you remember not too long ago, people were warning about using multiple different accounts. A lot of it has to do with phishing because it's very easy, as the Microsoft scammers are doing right now with all the different ways. We've covered this on the Weekly News Roundup. They send out some form of phishing email. You click a link and it opens up a page that looks exactly like a Microsoft login. And if you enter your credentials, it's a phishing site and they just stole your credentials. This is where if you have a multi-factor authentication, you're going to be somewhat protected, but now they have your password and there might be ways for them to sneak around it. This is going to prevent that by, if you're utilizing an account with passwordless login, then the authentication is done on the operating system level rather than on the device level. That's the theory, and when you say, wow, that's so much more secure, that sounds great. But there are negative implications. We're going to get to those. We're going to get to the implications near the end if we can, guys. Let's go ahead and just go through the article first. Anybody want to jump in here before I get into reading the article itself?
Yes.
Yep, go ahead.
Like, I've been to multiple places over the past week. I've had my truck at the dealer. I've been to the doctor and so on and so forth. All these places send you an email with a link to actually give them a review. Okay. Mm-hmm. And when you open it up, it asks you, do you want to use your Google ID? Yeah. And this is very unnerving for me that these companies want their reviews for things that you've done. And even I've come across other apps and other places on the internet. Just use your Google ID to log in or your Facebook ID to log in, you know? And it's like, this shouldn't be cross-platformed at all.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and
firewall.
Let's go ahead and get into one of the quick implications of this. The biggest implication, as Dan's indicating here, is privacy. Because if we're using a simple authentication, it's way easier to even accidentally or even unscrupulously sign into your Google account. And your Google account could be signed in when you do not intend it to be signed in. And the purpose of doing that is Google wants you to always be logged into your account, because if you're logged into your Google account, they can trace you around the internet way better than if you're not. If you're not, they're dependent on the cookies on your website. If you're logged into your Google account, particularly if you're using Chrome and logged into the Google account and logged into the Google account on Chrome itself, they can store infinite amounts of your browsing history ad infinitum. And if it's that easy, just a single click to log in, then that is what they're trying to do. And I've seen this with PayPal, for example. Well, I don't have a PayPal account attached to this channel anymore. I do still have one attached to my web design business, which all I use it for is sending clients invoices. I don't use anything anywhere else. Well, they've gotten to the point where you log into the PayPal account, they're like, we trust this device. We're going to stay logged in to make it easy for you. I'm like, hell no, you're not. Because I don't want to accidentally click a link and accidentally buy something. You know,
does it still do that even if you like explicitly log out?
If you explicitly log out, it logs you out. But if you do not explicitly log out, if you just close the browser like most people do, it keeps you logged in, and you could accidentally spend money on a PayPal account. because they want to make it easy and convenient. And this is not about security. This is about being easier and convenient, but it does have a security element to it. I will agree, portions of this, not all, but portions of this can be more secure in some cases. Anything else before we move into the article?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dan.
As for the security part, I have been looking at it. Apparently, the way that passkeys work is similar to how like SSH keys work. So it's like public-private key authentication. So that's kind of the part where it is more secure. But in the other ways, there's problems.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. It looks like they're implementing an easy-to-use version of SSH keys.
Yeah, so and it's keys that requires you to be logged into your operating system, be that a phone or I know Windows 11 on Chrome browsers have this implemented as well. So if you're using Windows 11 on Chrome, please don't. No, if you're using Windows 11 and Chrome, you can use this on desktop applications. But right now, the biggest rollout is on mobile applications. All right, let's get into the article. For some time now, we and others in the industry have been working on a simpler and safer alternative to passwords. While passwords will be with us for some time to come, they are often frustrating to remember and put you at risk if they end up in the wrong hands. I don't find passwords to be frustrating to remember. I really don't. And of course, we have password managers, so you shouldn't have to worry about remembering your passwords at all. Of course, don't use like any of the online ones, but nevertheless. Now, what if they end up in wrong hands? This is a problem. If people are being stupid and reusing passwords over and over, that's your problem. That's a you problem, not a rest of the world problem.
Use different passwords for different places. It's not that hard.
And you can use like a basic salt and add the website name to the end of it. It'll be very secure if you do a complicated salt that you remember and use for everything and then append onto it something else related to that site. It's still equally secure. And so we have to look into that, okay? But that's kind of what they're trying to do. If they fall into the wrong hands, this is where the two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication comes into play, which of course you should only be using with a YubiKey, never an SMS. Well, I should say SMS. Email can be fine as well, as long as you're not using the email that is also compromised as part of the plan. But that's the case. Now, last year, alongside FIDO Alliance, which is basically where the YubiKeys fall, Apple, which is where Poison Fruit is, and Microsoft, we announced we would begin to work. We should be a little bit more neutral, shouldn't we? All right. FIDO Alliance, Apple, and Microsoft, we announced that we would begin to work to support passkeys on our platform as an easier and more secure alternative to passwords.
What were you about to say instead of passkeys?
Oh, I was making fun of the
What's
Poison
the
Fruit
difference
and the
between a
Microsoft.
key and a word?
Okay, so the difference, as Ashton had mentioned and Salbu, the difference it's basically this behaves like an SSL on a website. You use a website and you go to the website and there's a public key and a private key. The public key is known publicly. The private key is basically the passkey. And what they're doing is the passkey is basically a private key that is tied to your device, which could be a mobile device, it could be a computer, or the way the YubiKeys work, that device is the YubiKey itself, which is why YubiKeys are still the most secure, because it's one physical key. Of course, you can lose it, and that is the downside of the YubiKey, but it's still the best overall way of doing your security. All right, so and there is possible to use a YubiKey exclusively. And if you have a service like that, get at least two and have a couple of them. Because I have one that it stays locked in a safe, and I have another one that is readily accessible, and everything that supports the keys, I put both keys on. And then if one of them gets lost or stolen, whatever else, I use the other one and then clear the first one off. And then, of course, replace the other one. So they've been rolling out support for passkeys across the Google accounts and on all major platforms. There'll be an additional option that people can use to sign in alongside passwords, two-step verification, etc. So hopefully next year at World Password Day, apparently we have World Password Day showing up.
That's a thing?
Apparently, I don't think any of these things are a thing anymore. They just make it up.
I mean,
What do we do, man? World Passkey Day. Sure, why not?
hey, today's May the 4th.
Yeah, it is May the 4th. I know all the Star Wars jokes going on. I'm sorry. My apologies, guys. I can't get behind the Star Wars jokes because of what Disney did to that stupid franchise. I just want nothing to do with that franchise anymore.
Agreed.
I do not want to draw any positive attention to a franchise that is explicitly using their money to corrupt children. That is exactly what they have stated they're doing in their internal documents.
They murdered Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
And then
Han
they
Solo.
did it literally.
Yeah. That being said, people were sending me some really funny Star Wars jokes today. I did laugh. I LOL'd it, but it was good, What was the one? We're not gonna get those. All right, but they were great. They were good. I do appreciate the folks that sent me the jokes today. But yeah, I'm just not going to participate in that. I'm going to participate in May the 4th as much as I'm going to participate in LGBT month or something. They're both easier and to use and more secure than passwords, so users no longer need to rely on the names of pets, birthdays, or the infamous password 123. Okay. This is the sentence.
Or the infamous password 123.
If you're using password 123, you may as well be using 12345 and be that type of idiot who has his password on his luggage.
Yeah, just straight up, if you're using password 123, you did this to yourself.
Yeah. So basically what Google's doing here is they are doing a logical fallacy here, and I do not remember the name of that logical fallacy. If you know, go ahead and put it in the chat so I can remember exactly what it is. But I think it's the false equivalency or whatever else. Basically, or is it the? I think this might actually be the straw man. You're like, oh, you need to get rid of passwords so you don't have to remember password 123 or your pet's name. Yeah, cat. What's your name? I forget. Yeah, I'm not gonna forget my cat's name. But if your cat is also public, like my cat is named CJ, don't have your pet name in your password. Okay,
but even if no one knows the name or that you even have a pet, do not ever because they give you a few options of what the security question should be. But do not ever answer the correct put in the correct answer. So if they ask you for what's your birth or your mother's maiden name,
mother's maiden name used to be the most popular, and then Facebook happened.
Yeah, but put something in it. I used to. I don't use this anymore for anything, so I can reveal this. This is 20 years ago. There was an online service that I used. It's long since dead. And they wanted, so I opted for what's your mother's maiden name, and my security answer was none of your business. Make something up that is not in any way related to the question being asked.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so passkeys let the users sign into apps and sites using the same way they unlock their devices, with a fingerprint, a face scan, or a lock screen pin. So you don't have to remember password 123. You just have to remember 1234.
Never use the face scan.
Yeah. Or you got your face scan, your fingerprint. They'll probably do an iris scan sometime. It wouldn't surprise me if something like, Pornhub goes with like the retinal, the anal scan, Like, wouldn't that be? Is it you? Yeah, that's you.
Oh boy.
We know we got the smart toilets. We know that they've been done doing anal prints. You can look it up, guys. Anal printing is a thing. And they apparently are unique. So
I hope nobody starts sitting on their phones after this video.
All right. Unlike passwords, passkeys are resilient to online attacks like phishing, making it more secure. Now, here's my big question, and I don't know the answer. I was wondering if you guys would have any thoughts. What do you think might happen? We know that the account that breached Linus Tech Tips that we talked about a couple weeks ago, we know that happened by stealing all the cookies. Basically, the people were assumed to have been logged in. Do you think that this would have solved that or not?
No.
Only if they logged out whenever they were done with anything.
Yeah, because what they did in the LTT hack, they cloned the browser. So anything that he was logged, that the individual was logged in as, they were also logged in as.
Yep.
So the 2FA, they have two-factor authentication, and it's really strong. You really has to go out of your way in order to log into that thing. And still a simple browser hijack was all that was required to clone the. So no, it wouldn't stop this.
So this would not do anything. All right. So they are saying it's more secure than an SMS one-time code. That is true. One-time SMS codes are horribly insecure. First, they use a public identifier. SMS is generally unencrypted unless you're using something like Signal. But even then, it has to be coming from an encrypted place to land encrypted in Signal. So that's the case there. Over the past year, we've shared updates on bringing passkey experiences to both Chrome and Android with services like DocuSign. We talked about that at the weekly news roundup last week. Kayak, PayPal, Shopify, and Yahoo Japan apparently has figured security out. The rest of the world hasn't, but have already deployed the streamlined sign-in for their users. Starting today, we will be available as an option for Google account holders who want to try passwordless sign-in experience. So to use it, go to g.co/passkeys, and setting it up is easy. Google Workspace account administrators will have the option to enable passkeys for their end users during sign-in. Of course, like any new beginning, the change to passkeys will take time. Well, that's a blessing. Maybe it will take long enough time that Jesus will come back first. That'd be great. That's why passwords and 2SV will still work for Google accounts. That's good. All right, so that's basically their thing about it. So let's go ahead and talk about the overall consequences and things like that. Who wants to jump in there?
First of all, I would like to say that you are correct. It would be a straw man argument what they were doing there with password 123.
Yeah. I was pretty sure I used to know the logical fallacies off the top of my head, but I have not engaged in debate enough lately to know that for sure. All right, any other consequences people want to talk about?
Okay. Mobile devices, let's say. Okay, now I don't use my mobile device with any services from Google. So
smart.
My phone is limited to phone, text message, a music app and some music, and maybe audiobook or something.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's a pretty smart way to go about it, I'd say.
Well, it's limiting, it's not fun having your phone limited, but I don't want my phone sharing junk inside of it that I can't see that's going on, sending things through Wi-Fi and, Bluetooth and all that junk. So it's a security issue. It'd be the same thing if you had a Google phone that had Lineage or something on it. At least your stuff in your phone is sandboxed.
Yeah. One thing I'm going to mention here that wasn't here, but was in some of Google's other documentation. You can use this if you're not on your main device, you're on a friend's device. You can log in and verify with your other device. So if you have your smartphone with you and you're using these keys on your phone, and you need to log into a full desktop computer at a friend's house, you can use your phone to do a one-time authentication using into that account without saving passkeys to your friend's computer. That is something else you can do with it as well. So you can just say, we're signing in, give it the email address, and then choose passkey. Now, that in and of itself raises another security question.
Yeah.
What if somebody has cloned your phone? I don't think this is going to solve that either.
They don't even need to do that because Kevin Mitnick, he did this exact hack in the 1990s when he was hacking into systems in order to download something in order to prove that he was in some system. He would call people and ask them to, so they used Unix systems as their main servers. And he would call into someone pretending to be from the IT department. And he needed to check if their password was compatible with the system. And he had them enter something in one of the dot files that opened unencrypted logging from anywhere in the world without any password. So all they have to do is call someone pretending to be from the system admin department, and that there is some problem, and they just need to verify that his account is secure. And all he has to do is to press OK on his phone for a code, so that they verify that the phone belongs to him, and voila, they are into his to his account.
Yeah, so there's ways around this. I mean, it's not going to be... once you sit down and say, well, this is far more secure, don't worry. Give it about, 36 hours, and hackers will already have a way into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's some of the things I thought of, just off the top of my head here. The first is, think about the non-techie people. Like, we're tech geeks. We look at this stuff, we're like, I don't really want to do this. Think about the non-techie person. Like, for example, one of my clients, we recently brought on somebody to help with some content. And one of the things I asked her to do is put together a list of blog post topics. So she sends this list out in a Google Doc. And the Google Doc is locked. And I sent her an email back and I said, hey, I can't see this. You need to open it up for, the Google account that we use for the company. She's like, I don't know what this means. It's like non-techie people are primarily who uses this. And I have a hard enough time explaining to a non-techie person how to use an SMS 2FA. All right, if I need to, and I had to do it. It took me 45 minutes once. I needed to get into somebody's GoDaddy account and make a change to a domain. And when we called her up and I was like, we need access to this. She's like, well, here's the password. I said, I need more than just the password. I need to do this. 45 minutes we were on the phone to figure out how to get her to receive a text message and tell me what it was. Now, it sounds very frustrating, but that's your average non-techie person out there. That really is your average non-techie person out there. Think of trying to get an SMS message through a 2FA code for a login for your grandparents. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. So,
despite the fact that everyone uses technology nowadays, I feel like technical literacy is at an all-time low.
Oh yeah, technical literacy is very low because a lot of the computer systems are designed to be quote-unquote idiot-proof. Well, that's the thing that makes it worse.
The universe will always make better idiots.
Yeah. So non-techie people who sign into another device will not know the difference. So if they go to their friend's house and they click the button, they may permanently sign into their friend's device and not know it. And now their friend can get in there and do anything and everything inside their account and not even know they're in their friend's account. Okay. So that's going to be a consequence.
Or in the case of the Google Docs, what many often do when, this thing is locked and they can't figure out how to open it for just your Google account. So, I just open up for everyone who has the link.
Yeah. Somebody just mentioned, what about Authy? Authy has just come out recently as not being encrypted. Did I hear that right? I haven't read into all of the articles, but there was something a serious security flaw in Google Authy. I might have the article in my news roundup, but I don't do that until tonight. So
is that similar to the OAuth 2?
I don't know. I remember seeing something in passing about a major security vulnerability in, I thought it was Google's 2FA authentication app, but I could be wrong about that.
Authy is Twilio's 2FA app.
Oh, that's Twilio's. Okay. I don't use any of these stupid things because I do not believe in using your smartphone for any authentication. I am completely clueless about this stuff. I'm like a boomer here. Believe it or not, I'm a tech boomer when it comes to your mobile devices and authentication codes because, no, this is the stupidest thing you can do to have on your devices. All right. My second consequence of this is the nuclear option of losing our device. All right. I'm using passwordless login. That's the sound of your phone falling in the toilet. Now, I mean, I know most phones now are waterproof enough to survive a fall in the toilet, but do you want to move around the toilet to get it? Okay. So that's the thing, right? This is a problem. The nuclear option of losing your device. What happens when you get out of your device? How do you get back into your account? Well, if I have a password, I know how to get in my account. Now, of course, if I'm using two-factor authentication and I'm using, Google's authentication app and my phone's in the toilet, that doesn't help me either. So we're still kind of screwed here. And this is where we need to think about these nuclear options. What happens when all of my devices are broken? What happens when my phone is swimming with the logs? And I would rather not risk the yellow brick porcelain. That's a good question to ask. All right.
Don't use the device itself. Use like a YubiKey or something like that.
And that's why I use the YubiKeys. All right. And then the third option that we've already touched on briefly is the perpetual login. So if we are perpetually logged into our account, this also means a perpetual data collection, not only since this is rolling out mostly on your devices, on your phones, not only through your Google account, but through every single app that wants access to your Google account. Think about that. And so we have consequences of this. So is this more secure? I think we've established it's not. It's going to be more, it's safer in terms of phishing attacks.
There's some ups, there's some downs.
It's completely safer. Yeah. But it's not universal. It's not
now
universal.
I got a scenario.
All right.
And stick with me here. Okay, I don't use any Google junk on my phone. I don't use the email or anything like that. I do most of that stuff through my desktop computer. It doesn't have a finger scanner. It doesn't have a Face ID or anything like that. How am I going to log into Google to use YouTube?
You could have, according to this, to the.
What do I have to add?
You could have a program on your phone, on your desktop, similar to XFCE or.
No, I don't want no program on my phone. I want to be able to get to my keyboard, log into my.
No, there are 2FA applications that will work on a Linux desktop. I actually covered one of them.
Yeah.
There's like two-factor authentication.
Well, just like the OAuth thing for the Thunderbird mail that they sent me, I'm assuming they're going to roll out emails to people on how to implement their new thing.
Yeah, probably. And then they're going to be pushing it out and like, oh, this is the greatest thing. So we have a couple of questions here that are good. First, I got to read this comment from Road Vagabond Life because I love this. He says he created a complex, unknowable password that works against liberals. What is a woman? Okay, good enough. All right, so more serious ones. On the more serious note, is that Jello Gia, I think, says, can you talk about how to use the YubiKey physically? Yes. So here's a YubiKey here. So this guy here, this is an older model. So I got these a few years ago. We had a company I was working with that were like, they were trying to be super secure and stuff. I'm like, you want to be super secure? I only did their work on cubes and I used the YubiKey for everything. It drove them nuts. Like, what's talk security? All right. I can talk security all day long. So when you go to log into account, anything that supports a YubiKey, and a lot of things are, everything from KeePass will support a YubiKey, your Google accounts, your Microsoft accounts, your Facebook accounts, all these things will support these. So when you log in, it asks you for two-factor authentication. You plug this guy into your USB port and you tap the button here. Now, there are smaller form factor ones designed to keep plugged in. Basically, it turns your main computer and just to a tap verify login system. They will make them with USB-C and Lightning ports, so you can use them for phones and stuff like that as well. So that's how they work. And you can tie near unlimited amount of accounts to a single key. So I have like this key runs a bunch of my own personal stuff. It also runs my client's Google accounts, my client's Facebook accounts, a bunch of other things is all verified on that key. What's that?
Always have a spare.
Yeah, always have a spare. And actually, on my clients, I just have that one. On my personal ones, I have that one for me, and I have a backup one for me. But for my clients, I just use those. More or less, I just tell clients when I'm working with them long term, I say, if you want me to be managing your Google accounts, your Facebook accounts, whatever else, you have to let me use my YubiKey as a two-factor authentication, so I don't have to bother you every single time I want logged into the account.
Sounds accurate.
So that's
okay. The YubiKey works in conjunction with your username and the password. You
Yeah,
selected,
so I
right?
enter in the username, the password, and then it asks for verification. This is why I'm surprised that the Linus Tech Tips happen to the degree it happens, because when I need to do anything major on my YouTube account, even though I'm logged in, it still asks me for the security key every single time anyway. So that is my FIDO USB is currently identifying as confused. All right.
What they're not telling you is they left the UB key in the USB slot.
Yeah. Is that a fingerprint reader on the key? No, it is not a fingerprint reader. It's kind of like a touch lamp. If you remember touch lamps, you touch them.
You do have to touch it, but on that particular, there are some models that do have a fingerprint reader.
Yeah, I think there are some that do have a fingerprint. Yes,
but most don't.
Yeah. So there you go. Let's see. Anything else we want to mention before we hit comments? Well, I guess not, because our Jitsi server just crashed on me. So, while we get that guy, reconfigured, I will go ahead and start reading in on the comments. All right, let's see. Where was I? There goes my 35 character passwords in Gmail. No, they are not getting rid of them entirely yet. They're just trying to alternatively do this. So let's see. Weather's crazy where I am today. Greetings, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. I guess that was Jitsi's method of saying, "Hey, let's move to comments." All right. Anyone there? Can people hear me yet? All right. People are coming on board. All right. Who's not back? Dan's not. Oh, yep. There's Dan. Dan just made it back. All right. So we'll move on to comments. If anyone wants to jump in or take any specific comment, go for it. Susie tried. Susie,
personally, I don't use any kind of two-factor authentication if I can avoid it. I have complex passwords that is hard to guess for any computer program, and I remember every single one in my head.
Nice.
And no, I'm not telling you how I put them together.
That's kind of how I am, Salbu, too. I use a complex username along with a really complex, with using a lot of the characters on the keyboard, to create my passwords. And I don't use one password for everything. I only use one password for one situation.
Yep.
Yeah,
I make new ones for everything else. But I take the list of passwords and lock them up in a secure safe that requires, 4 two-digit numbers to open it.
Yep.
Yeah. I have, I think I have 130 different passwords for 130 different sites, and I remember every single one in my head.
Mine are so complex, they're, I can't remember them all.
But a complex password doesn't necessarily mean a random string of characters. It could be a long actual sentence that you say out loud.
My passwords can be anything from AD hyphen
banana.
Yeah,
banana. There you go.
%, $sign.
We all know
colon
Ashton's
colon
passwords.
Dan.
Ashton's passwords are "I love bananas" or "Ashton loves bananas." So
actually, no, they are not.
So
okay.
an example of a valid complex password is quote, "This is a long password," end quote. That is a strong password because there is no there are no lists yet that combines every single possible type of sentence that someone can say, because it is the length of the password that is the issue, not what it actually is. So
this week I went to look into one of my bank accounts, to check my checking, and somebody had hacked into it and took $26. So I called the bank up and asked them and told them this. I didn't charge this. It was an international charge too. So of course I got slammed with a 26 cents international charge. But they also went for $26, for some on some podcast thing, and I called the bank and I asked them what's going up with this. This is the second time this year I got hacked, because I got hacked in January as well. It's not for big amounts. It's just low amounts under the radar. The bank told me, well, under a certain amount, they don't have to have this, what is it, the CVV number, the 3-digit number that goes with it.
Yep.
So they can use a computer and random generate credit card numbers, shove them through to a bank until one, or a situation until one charges through.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the threshold is $50 because I used to work in credit cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always changing as well.
Yeah.
It might actually be less now. I didn't mention it here too. Maybe just go ahead and throw it up before we get too far in the comments. But Dashlane at the same time actually announced that they are removing their passwords. Now they're not using a passkey system as much, but they were using passkeys, but they're saying that this is not passkey type stuff. And so what they're doing is, let's see, my password is, this is not the announcement that I had initially that had the details. It's not a passkey, but it's kind of behaves similar to a passkey. And they do have a way that you can recover if you lose your device. They do have a way that you can recover it. Let's see what the C now is.
I don't want to have to depend on my device. It's a telephone.
Yeah,
not
but that's the thing is they're using it with, fingerprints and stuff like that. So it's just another one to do. And they're of course saying that, password managers help phishing, and that's what it does. It does help against phishing, but they're saying, master passwords are no longer, they're already eliminating the need to create and memorize those and all these. It's just like, how much lazier of a society could we get, really?
Yeah, I really don't trust facial scans on phones at all. And then if I had to go down that route and was forced to, I probably would go get a rubber Ronald Reagan mask to put on my head and use that for the security key.
There you go.
What about Flipper Zero able to copy YubiKey with NCF? Okay, I do not know exactly what you're talking about. I've not seen that, but if I had my guess, first, there are some YubiKeys that work with an NCF, which is a protocol a lot of modern phones use as well. I don't like or prefer or use NCF. In fact, I considered seeing if I can get an affiliate link for Ridge wallets, because they resist the NFC stuff really well. I thought that might be an interesting little thing closely related to what we do. I've actually tested it. I'll put a credit card I have with the NCF reader inside the Ridge wallet, hold it right next to that gas pump. It will not read that card. So yeah, there are YubiKeys that have NCF. If you have one of those, yes, it would be possible to clone it, but you still have to have physical access to the key, which is something a lot harder to get than doing a basic email phishing. Meaning that anything that's going to be anything that's going to require physical access to the device is always going to be harder to pull off, unless you're explicitly targeted. And if you're explicitly targeted, you're screwed anyway. So
yeah,
it's like,
it's
are
really
you targeting
hard.
me? All right, what do you want, man?
It's really hard for me to accept a piece of physical hardware to actually keep all my secret passwords in.
Is it World Donut Day too? Lord help us. I'm gonna get fat. Banking system basically need 2 passwords. You're not logged in with your account number or email. Yeah, it depends. Some banks are doing stupid things. Some are not.
Mine, they want to call you and give you a 6-digit number over the phone. It's automated and everything, but you put it in the box on your screen and they'll let you into your account.
Over a phone call?
A automated phone call, and it's real slow for senior citizens too.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely stupid.
Yeah, but it's more secure than them sending you a text message with a 6-digit code.
It is that. It is slightly that.
I mean, that's kind of not that high of a bar to pass, to be fair.
Keys, and my children don't. They won't have a clue. And remember, CompuServe here. Yes.
Yes.
It's just a normal USB key with LibreOffice document. Instruction told people, okay. Oh, okay, he's talking about. He has instructions for how to access things in the case of the rapid disappearance from the planet. Alien abductions or otherwise. One side asks for the name of your favorite pet, and on the login I named it your mum. Yahoo Japan is an oddity after all of its own. There you go, yeah. Possible to save you some money, a YubiKey, maybe a cheaper one. Wait, what? Is it possible to save money using a YubiKey and maybe a cheaper one like the Thetis? I don't know. I haven't looked into all of the different keys. I just know I bought 2 and I got this one, and they have been working just fine for me. Eventually, I'll probably update to more modern ones. I don't know. Making it Brandon proof? I don't know. Good luck on that.
Well, Yahoo Japan is literally the Google of Japan.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if Kmart still survives in Australia, why not, you know?
Yeah, it is the most visited website in Japan, and its internet services are mostly dominant in the country.
Yeah.
Also, they're basically Japanese eBay as well.
Interesting. What channel is banned for asking questions? Let's see the answer. Oh, the answer: adult female human. No, that's not the correct answer. The correct answer is adult human being who lacks a Y chromosome. All embryos are inherently female. It's only the presence of a Y chromosome that makes it male.
Yeah.
Sorry, biologist here.
I literally just went to Yahoo Japan, and oh my god, this looks very late 90s, early 2000s right here.
Oh, there's a Kmart in Amsterdam. We got cat memes all over the place on Odyssey chat. Including like cat tacos and all sorts of stuff. My take passwords aren't that bad. Stop being lazy. Yes. Passwords are easier to remember as a phrase instead of a random string. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Isn't there an XKCD about that?
A what?
It's a...
Yeah, there is the forced battery staple or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very early XKCD,
other than
but
sending you a link.
It's a good one.
Make your passwords in Morse code. Dash dash dot dot dash 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 dash.
Yeah.
I just put...
Yeah.
Let's see over there. Let's see over on Twitch. We got first time chatter Gavin B. JB 1976. Hello to you. And Platypus is back. Thieves can break open any safe if they know what kind it is in advance. What happens to all of our accounts when we pass away? What happens when we pass away is, of course, some of them are trying to create this legacy mode where your family can take it over and keep you alive. Of course, Microsoft wanted to tie all of your information on into their AI stuff, so that your relatives never actually died. You could keep having them around forever, delaying that grieving process and making this crazy neurotic world out of everything here. We have a grand total of 75 people watching at least. That's kind of cool. Thank you guys for showing up on all of the alternative platforms. We got 17 watching over on a Rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Killer SCV is over there. Hello, supporting Rumble today. Remind 5 passwords to use random and rotate around. About to start using KeyPass. Very nice. Yeah, KeyPass XC is my go-to. I just keep the files. I keep the master files always up to date in my main backup system and a duplicate copy on my server, and then those get rotated in and out of my regular backups every couple months. Let's see. Been lazy lately, haven't we all?
All this extra work just to get your mail.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's easier now to walk to the mailbox and get it.
Pretty much, yeah. Wouldn't the things we call smartphones now actually be cellular tablets? Yes, probably. For sure. We got 25 over there on Odyssey. We have cats riding tacos. We have cats dressed as tacos. We have taco ads. See, this is the problem because I had tacos on my menu for tomorrow, and I'm just like, the world is already hacking my brain cells. I should just wave the white flag and surrender, shouldn't I? Never store personal information on your phone. Yes, cops pull you over,
Who's
can
putting all
download
the
your phone
cats
data.
on Odyssey?
Mostly Muko. I think all of them
Yeah.
are being put up by Muko.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Is that a bot
I don't know.
or a person?
I don't know. I'm enjoying the kitties. Here's a cat talking on a phone with a cat case, and now he's eating it. Okay, sounds exciting. Local encrypted key pass for the win. There you go. Should a YubiKey be used for like logging into a PC? Do any of them use a YubiKey for logging into a PC? I don't know.
I
don't
know
know if they
that on Linux Mint you can, and I have the process.
Really?
There's a process for it. I can do it. I just don't have it active for that because I'm like, I don't necessarily need to use my YubiKey just to go into my machine.
Good secure disk encryption is good enough for me, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess in theory it's possible. Maybe I'll look into it.
But then your
YubiKey can
disk's
beat
not
both of
encrypted. You can pull it out and just stick it in another machine.
Yep. It's all about getting people on smartphones. So you're a slave. Now, is that Ivan tied to the BIOS or is that tied to the Linux Mint itself?
I think it's Linux Mint. It's in. It has to deal with Lux. So it's
Okay.
Yeah, Lux is
also-
what Linux.
So probably
uses
anything
for
that
encryption.
supports Lux
Yeah.
can probably do it then. Okay.
yeah, pretty much.
Seen some havoc in computer builds that could burn through 6-digit code in seconds. Yes. There's a fast typing computer. And let's see. Even after I clear cache, remembers my auto sign without a password. That's exciting. How hard would it be to have a separate phone for two-factor texts? Not too difficult. In the United States, you can easily get a burner phone and not actually tie it to you. But depending on where you're at in the world, that may or may not be a possibility. It'd be a little bit of extra money to do, and this is why some people have written articles. I think it's ProPublica a couple years ago wrote an article indicating that privacy really is a rich person's game, because if you want the best overall security, you got to be putting money into it. YubiKeys can be expensive. Alternative phones can be expensive. Alternative computers can be expensive. There's a lot of things that you could do differently to do that. All right. Any other thoughts before we wrap up here today?
I like the fact that the passkey that they are developing. I like the fact that it is seem to be important to them that it is stored on the user's device, be it a phone or a local computer. So I like that aspect of it, and it's good to have an alternative to that is local only. And not dependent on a password manager stored on.
There's elements. There are elements that are good. There's just elements that are not, and I think that's part of the problem. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap this one up here. 9:00 p.m. tonight, we have our thought crime bill analysis. This is the bill in Ireland. Hate crime bill in Ireland that is pretty bad. So we'll doing a breakdown of that over on the Christian channel. So that'll be on the YouTube channel, and that will roll out to all the alt tech. By the way, the Christian work is on all of the main alt tech sites. We have it syncing to BitChute, we have it syncing to Rumble, we have it syncing to Odyssey. So if you do like that type of content, and I'm a little different in mine, I do not get into as much of the Christian world drama. I actually open the Bible and do expositional studies. I've been thinking about adding another one every week as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at on that channel. So you can head on over there and see that if you're interested in that. It is on all the alt tech platforms. The channel is called Our Walking Christ. You can follow the link to the YouTube or head to ourwalkingchrist.com. That's OUR. And I have a link to all of the video platforms down there. Yes, American Legend, we are just live. We are going to wrap up right now. If you want to jump on and hang out after the show, American Legend, you should have the links. We are on my server today, just so you are aware of that. And with that, guys, thanks for watching. We will see you tomorrow, weekly news roundup, right here at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be a lot of fun. And then we will have the weekend off. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Well, have yourself a wonderful evening. We will see you tomorrow for the weekly news roundup. And Muko is giving us a cat in a box on a skateboard. So it's a good thing to leave on. See you guys later.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.